Just imagine what life would be for a woman over there in the US where misogyny reigns and the capital of the patriarchy will soon be the White House. You go, Trump. It's true.
My balls! I don't want my balls sticking to my leg.
Are you serious? Whose balls stick to their legs if they sit down? Unless you're going commando or something. Don't you think you're overdoing it a bit much? Look at you. The guy sitting on your left has his legs spread at the same distance that his shoulders are spread. Your legs are like twice as far away. Nobody sits like that.
Manspreading is when a man spreads his physical body.
What do you mean? As opposed to his spiritual body?
To take up as much space as humanly possible.
As much as humanly possible? I'm seriously confused there. So we're talking about sitting down and men spreading their legs, okay? So as much as is humanly possible when sitting down and spreading your legs? Because, when I see these guys sitting down, they could move their legs even further apart. I mean, okay, women tend to be more flexible in that area, but men can still do more than they're doing. So is that what you're talking about, or are you just saying, well, as much as humanly possible? But then manspreading would be lying down on whatever seat on the train or wherever, lying down and taking up the whole seat, as you will do later on, as you will see.
The people around you are relegated to a very small portion, but the key to manspreading is not noticing.
Yeah, because manspreading is a form of oppression against women and also other men that are left with a very small space to sit in.
We grow up on two different tracks. People who manspread just are socialized not to worry about it.
Yeah, let's throw in some college-level psychology into this Buzzfeed video, as if it's not horrible enough.
This week of manspreading is definitely going to make me feel anxious. As much as a super strong feminist, I want to say it won't.
Oh man, whew, I got really lightheaded there. Yeah, complaining because you're such a strong feminist. Oh man.
I kind of secretly hope to annoy some men.
Psst, if you say it out loud, it's no longer a secret.
That's my first train trip as a manspreader. I just feel like a monster already.
Are you serious? You feel like a monster for spreading your legs? Oh man, I just can't understand what kind of world these people must be living in if they label somebody a monster. Something that I would reserve for people like Hitler, if they use those words for people who spread their legs. Think about it. Who spread their legs. And we'll come to why they spread them later.
How can you do this every day without being conscious of it?
In the same way that I scratch my face when I have a little itch without my being conscious of it. What are you saying? There's no moral value in spreading your legs, especially if you're sitting like you on the train by yourself.
I just manspread on the bus for maybe a 5-minute ride for the first time, and it wasn't even half full, and I was already getting glared at.
People glare at people for all sorts of reasons. Maybe you had a little booger in your nose or something. Well, who cares? What's the problem? How do you know that they're staring at you or glaring at you because your legs are spread? Well, maybe, I don't know, they had a particular point of view when you spread their legs. When you spread your legs. Sorry, not their legs. You can't spread their legs. Anyway, when you spread your legs, they maybe saw something and thought, this, maybe I shouldn't look here, so I'll look at her face instead. I don't know. It could be for whatever reason.
So I think this is going to be a kind of long week.
It's day 2 of manspreading and I forgot that I had to do this.
I think whenever a woman takes up space, she's considered bossy, she's considered aggressive. There are a lot of stereotypes surrounding black women and whether or not we're angry or we're dominant. And so maybe a lot of the reasons why I do minimalize my presence is because I don't want to be perceived or engage with those stereotypes.
Whoa, wait, what happened? What? I thought we were talking about manspreading. Why did we suddenly talk about black feminism?
I just got my nails done and I manspread during my entire manicure and nobody really seemed to notice. I'm not sure if it was because it was all women and we were just all kind of in our own world or what, but...
No, I experience the same thing when I take a manicure. It's because the vast majority of people who take manicures aren't radical feminists such as yourself.
It was kind of awesome.
I'm halfway through the week and really not enjoying this experiment at all. I'm still giving my seat up to people who need it because of course I am.
Wait, what are you saying here? Are you saying that people that manspread, so the majority of men around the world, maybe all men around the world, they would never give up their seat for somebody else? What kind of idiot are you?
What is it between their legs that's so important?
What's so important? My bolle, my balls, my cojones. You know, the thing that creates life. It's the reason why evolution has made me the way that I am, including the manspreading. It's the culmination of existence for mankind. That's what.
That it requires 2 to 3 seats.
2 to 3 seats? Are you insane, woman? The picture you showed isn't even of men taking up 2 to 3 seats when they're manspreading. You know, I can understand that you want to, make the whatever. I just knocked over something on my desk. I know that you want to exaggerate, to make the point bigger and, give some people the impression that it's like a real oppression. People, there are men out there that sit and take up 3 seats and they're assholes and they need to lose weight. I mean, they need to close their legs. That's, it's those men. It's those skinny men that are maybe really tall, have big limbs, and they spread them like they do they're like gymnasts. They place their legs completely perpendicular to their body on the couch or on the seat. And you just, you have to take it. It's just normal. It just looks normal when a guy spreads his legs that way on the chair. It's just fine. And so, yeah, they take up so many seats and they're monsters. They're monsters for doing that, I tell you.
When there are kids, families, women, and elderly people standing up.
I saw a guy who was taking up 2 seats. When I sat down, I spread my legs out, which kind of pushed his leg into his own seat. And he turned to me and gave me a dirty look and said, "Seriously?"
Yeah, seriously. I mean, okay, you're sitting down, you're spreading your legs. That's fine. You can do that. But don't touch the other person when you're spreading your legs. That's just rude. And he's taking up 2 seats. Then how did you sit next to him? Were there 3 seats?
Women are expected to be quiet, small, and almost invisible.
Whoa, what the hell's going on? What? I thought we were talking about manspreading. Now we're talking about, the fact that the First Amendment in the U.S. only applies to men. That's just the way it is, women. You have to accept it. And, if you had the vote, you could change it, but you don't. So just shut up and, be quiet and let the man spread his legs.
Whereas men can be these boisterous slobs and it's all good.
Yeah, because men never get knocked out for acting boisterously and slobbishly or something like that. Or at the very least, nobody actually speaks to such men and say, what you're doing is boisterous and slobbish, and it's not appropriate. And you shouldn't be lying down taking up 2 seats when everybody wants to sit down, and you're sleeping there, and you're blocking the pathway in the train, and nobody would say anything because he's a man. He's a man. And other men wouldn't say anything either. It's, well, that's an other man. I can't, oh no. But if it's a woman, I can just slap her in the face and say, "Woman, get your ass out of here and be quiet." because that's the way the world is. That happens every day. I see it with my own eyes every day. It's a horrible place here in the Netherlands. You just, as a woman, you wouldn't dare go into the train because you'll be raped all over the place. Just because your knees aren't touching when you're sitting down. And if it's a particularly busy day and you're a woman and you're sitting down, oh man, you'll have like 20 men on you, slapping you in the face, threatening to throw you out of the train while it's moving, while holding onto your legs. That's an average day in the Netherlands. What would it be? If that's the Netherlands, just imagine what life would be for a woman over there in the U.S., where misogyny reigns and the capital of the patriarchy will soon be the White House. You go, Trump. It's true. You can't imagine how bad it would be there. It would be worse than in Raqqa, where ISIS rules. A woman wouldn't even dare go out on the street with a male chaperone. She wouldn't dare to do it. They would well, it's just that's why this woman dresses like a man. She dresses like a man because in the US it is just not allowed for women to go outside. It's because the patriarchy is there. That's the problem.
Instead of feeling the confidence that I've kind of been feeling the rest of the week, I started to feel a little guilty. While I was sitting there taking up 2 seats, a guy came up to sit next to me, and instead of moving over like I normally would, I kind of just had to sit there with my legs out, and instead of saying something to me, he just sat on the edge of the seat the entire time.
Yeah, that's probably because he's a man and he's happy to just be sitting, and he won't go out there and do an experiment and talk to people about stupid feelings that people didn't even ask about hearing and seeing how people react.
So I've come across another person, quote unquote, manspreading, but wait, they identify as female. Women can take up space as well?
Even though I'm a confident person, I tend to make myself small even when the situation doesn't call for it. I kind of felt uncomfortable manspreading even though there was no one around me.
Yeah, that maybe has something to do that men are built differently. There is no reason for a woman to spread her legs like a man, especially spreading her legs like you did, which isn't the way a man spreads his legs. A man spreads his legs the amount that feels comfortable to him without going into other people's personal space. What you're doing is over-exaggerating the spreading. It's as if you're opening your legs for a guy to come in. That's guys don't do that. It's just not necessary. And when you talk about, it wasn't comfortable for me, that's reasonable, because there's no reason for you to sit like that, and you never sat like that normally. So obviously you feel uncomfortable. It's like, talking about feelings for guys. Guys feel uncomfortable when they talk to other guys about their feelings, okay? Not all guys. It's not a necessary condition of being a man that you would do that. But even if, that, just assume for a second that the majority of guys feel uncomfortable with talking about their feelings, okay? They would feel even more uncomfortable about talking about their feelings when there's nobody around. That would be crazy, So guys don't do that normally in a group. So when they do it alone, it's even weirder. So yeah, that's like the same way with you sitting like a guy with balls. Because, I didn't mention it yet, but that's the reason, Guys sit with their legs spread because of their balls. It's those things, I mentioned that the balls are like, the culmination of the evolutionary process for mankind on the male side. It's like, it's the most important thing, because all the evolution looks for is, procreation, and women, it's kind of annoying, but okay, when you hit 40, then, evolutionary speaking, your life is over. If you don't have kids, you failed as a human being. That's just the way it is. And you can complain about, I want a career and blah, blah, blah. And, if you're a guy, you can have kids whenever you want. Yeah, but so as long as you open your legs from time to time. If you choke your balls, then you might not have kids.
I've not enjoyed this week at all. The very first day where a group of people came on, they were going to a game and they were all desperate for a seat and I was taking up 3 seats.
Again, woman, listen to me. There's a difference between spreading your legs and taking up 2 seats by putting your legs on them. There's a difference. You're not even spreading your legs in this picture. This is just insane. How gullible must your audience be to believe that this is an example of manspreading? Seriously. Maybe if you see a guy spreading his legs a little bit too much, you'd like a little bit more room, you smile at him and you say, "Oh, Grand Master of the patriarchy, can you please close your legs a little bit so I can sit?" He might not be an asshole and report you to the police. Who knows?
And they started talking about personal space. All their eyes were just on me and they were mostly women. If it was a group of dudes, I would have been like, yeah.
Yeah, because the patriarchy. And, if the guys are like grand masters of the patriarchy and they should all be ashamed of their high exalted status and, fuck them. That's the mentality. But because, they're the other, but the women, they're the you, right? Even though you look like a guy, that's beside the point. But they're women, so they're on your side. They're the us and not the them, So obviously, if they're the us, you want to help them, you don't want to judge them, and you don't like it that they judge you. But the idiotic thing is that you look at the world as a them and us, while saying that we should all be an us at the same time. But you're being a hypocrite because you're saying men are the they, not the us. So why don't you stop being a hypocrite? And if you think the world is like that, then look at men as the us, not as the they.
I thought that manspreading would kind of give me this air of disregard because I thought that I worried too much about what people think, and I've realized that I worry just enough. You should be concerned with whether or not the people around you are comfortable because that means you're a good community member.
Yeah, but listen to me, woman. If you don't speak, then how can I know that you're uncomfortable? Generally when I see a woman with a skirt, for example, who closes her legs tight, I don't expect that woman to suddenly, spread her legs like really wide so everybody can see what's up her skirt. Women don't do that. That's just not how women act. So if she sits like that, and she sits besides me, which rarely happens because I'm an ugly motherfucker, and I'm fat, by the way. So when they sit next to me, I sit in a way that, I don't touch her. And it's fine, I sometimes I even feel uncomfortable if I feel the warmth of her body too close to mine, So I just sit there and I take as much room as I can without touching her or even going into her like a warmth aura or something, I sound like a woman talking like this, but I'm being honest here. I'm not being an asshole like I was 5 minutes ago.
My favorite part of this exercise was easily when I got to sit next to men who were taking up way too much space and just forcefully work my way into the seat and without words say, "Hey, I deserve to sit here."
Yeah, of course you do. You expect something like that from a woman like you, from like a strong feminist. It's that's really strength. That's female privilege what you got right there. Trust me, it is. Because if I did something like that, well, maybe not if I did it, but if some guy did it to another guy, some guy sitting down spreading his legs, and some guy sits down to him and he spreads his legs as well, pushing the other guy away, that guy will look at him and not only say, "Are you serious?" Like the other guy did like 5 seconds ago when you talked about it, maybe like 5 minutes ago, maybe even more because this video is going on forever because of your stupid shit. So, if you were a guy, that guy wouldn't have said seriously. He would have looked at you with a stare that would make you fart out your soul. That's the look he would give you. And if you had the balls, which you don't have because you're a woman, look at the guy and say something like, what? Or whatever. You say even like Teletubby or something like that. He would slap you in the mouth. And if you still came at him or did something, he would just knock you out. But because you're a woman, he doesn't. Because he's a gentleman. He's thinking, okay, this woman is a bitch. I can't hit women. It's not right to hit women, so I know, fuck it. I'll just sit here and let it happen. And maybe he thought you were a good-looking girl, because you are. Trust me, you are. Just the personality is just missing. It's just not a match. Maybe he thought, I don't give a shit if a woman touches my body. That's fine. He might not be so conscientious as I am.
To be forced to manspread really showed me how up your own ass you have to be as a person to not be conscious of those around you.
To the man that's taking up too much space on a bus, on the plane, on the bench, we see you. You don't need that much room. To the young women out there, I say you should definitely be aware of your surroundings. If there's something that you want, if there's something you want to say, if there's a position that you want to hold, take up that space. You deserve that space.
Wait, how do you even know that? How do you know that this woman deserves that space? You're not even talking about sitting anymore. You're talking about, taking a position in a business or something. If there's a guy who's got way more experience, he's got the right or even a better education, and he's got the connections, and maybe he's bringing some clients with him. That guy might be better suited for the job. So just because you're a woman does not mean that you can take that spot, that you can claim it. Because what you would be doing is exactly what you're accusing of the guys of doing, which they're not doing. And that is taking up more seats than are necessary. There are no guys, besides me, because I'm fat and ugly, that take up 2 seats when they sit down. There's no guys out there that do that. So thanks everybody for watching. This was a really long video, but I just so hate Buzzfeed. But I like ranting on it. I'm making a little bit of jokes, putting some satire into it. And I thought, this channel is new, and I wanted to show something else. I've made a couple of series videos, and I thought, make something like this. And if you guys really like it, and you want to see more of this, rather than the other thing, or maybe you want to see both, subscribe, and especially give a like, because then I can figure out what people want, and I'm sure there are people that like other things more than this, and that's fine too. Let me know in the comment section what you like, and if you feel triggered or somehow insulted by this video, then I'm happy.